this video, we'll explore the dangers of methanol in drinking sources. On March 28, 2023, 3 barges became loose from their tugboat on the Ohio River. 2 of the barges contained corn and soy, but the third contained 1,400 pounds of methanol in containers. Methanol is also known as wood alcohol and is commonly used as antifreeze. This situation prompted officials to limit traffic on the river as state and federal agencies responded and tried to remove the 3 barges, according to the Coast Guard. The 3 were part of a group of 10 that somehow broke free from their tugboat at about 2 a.m. on March 28th after the tugboat hit with a structure at the entrance to the Portland Canal near the Ohio River's McAlpine Locks and Dam, according to Louisville's Emergency Management Agency. 1 barge remained attached, and all except for the one carrying methanol were transporting soy and corn. Let's look at how one should identify methanol from water samples. This is from Method 308, which was updated by the EPA in October 2020, titled Procedure for Determination of Methanol Emission from Stationary Sources. A gas sample is extracted from the sampling point in the stack. The methanol is collected in deionized distilled water and absorbed on silica gel. The sample is returned to the laboratory where the methanol in the water fraction is separated from other organic compounds with a gas chromatograph and is then measured by a flame ionization detector if it is in gas form. The fraction absorbed on silica gel is extracted with deionized distilled water and is then separated and measured. This procedure includes a disclaimer for users which said this method may involve hazardous materials, operations, and equipment. This test method does not purport to address all of the safety problems associated with its use. It is the responsibility of the user of this test method to establish appropriate safety and health practices and to determine the applicability of regulatory limitations. Methanol is flammable and a dangerous fire and explosion risk. It is moderately toxic by ingestion and inhalation. Methanol toxicity, or methanol poisoning, is poisoning from methanol, characteristically via ingestion. Symptoms may include a decreased level of consciousness, poor or no coordination, vomiting, abdominal pain, and a specific smell on the breath. Decreased vision may start as early as 12 hours after exposure. Long-term outcomes may include blindness and kidney failure. Blindness may occur after drinking as little as 10 milliliters due to damage to the optic nerve. Death may occur after drinking quantities over 15 milliliters, depending on body weight. Toxicity may also rarely occur through extensive skin exposure for bathing, for example, or breathing in fumes. When methanol is broken down by the human body, it results in formaldehyde, formic acid, and formate, which cause much of the toxicity. Early treatment increases the chance of a good outcome. Treatment consists of stabilizing the affected person, followed by the use of an antidote. The preferred antidote is fomepizole, with ethanol used if this is not available. Hemodialysis may also be used in those where there is organ damage. Other treatments may include ingesting baking soda, folate, and thiamine. Ethanol, the active ingredient in alcoholic beverages, acts as a competitive inhibitor by more effectively binding and saturating the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme in the liver, thus blocking the binding of methanol and preventing poisoning. Methanol is treated in the body by the kidneys without being converted into the very toxic metabolites. So it's incredibly important that kidney health is prime for people exposed to methanol. In 2013, more than 1,700 cases of methanol poisoning occurred in the United States. The initial symptoms you will see include central nervous system breakdown, headache, dizziness, nausea, lack of coordination, and confusion. The initial symptoms of methanol exposure are usually less severe than the symptoms from the ingestion of eating methanol. Once the initial symptoms have passed, a second set of symptoms arise from 10 to as many as 30 hours after the initial exposure that may include blurring, loss of vision, and hemorrhages from the eyes. These symptoms result from the accumulation of toxic levels of formate in the blood and may progress to death by respiratory failure. Conventionally, so how do we remove methanol from our water supply? Conventionally, methanol is separated from aqueous solution by distillation, as scientists will try to evaporate off the methanol from the water. As we all know, infrastructure in the United States today is at a breaking point in many places, and so distillation may not be applicable because it is expensive and consumes large amounts of energy. Alternative methods have been developed and applied, including putting the water on zeolite, which is a type of naturally occurring rock which binds the methanol. Gas stripping is also applicable, and filtering with many tiny nanotubes to get the methanol out of the water. There is currently zero evidence of a tank breach or any leaks, and air and water monitoring resources are in place, according to the United States Coast Guard for this methanol barge on the Ohio River. As of this video, the 3 barges are currently pinned against the McAlpine Dam, and the methanol barge has submerged into the water. Downriver traffic on the Ohio River outside Louisville, Kentucky was stopped, and nearby locks that had reopened after earlier closings would most likely close again. It cannot be understated the importance of dams and locks and healthy river management systems in emergencies like this. Unfortunately, Pete Horrible, the Secretary of Transportation, doesn't see the need to improve a lot of these structures, and so they remain at breaking point across the Rust Belt. There's going to be salvage operations, according to the United States Coast Guard, and it's going to be dangerous. Now, salvage operations already took place for 7 of the 10 barges, and this occurred with locals, men who were working on the water. They did not wait for FEMA. They did not wait for the EPA. They got to business and rescued 7 of the loose barges. They just weren't able to rescue these 3. Imagine how difficult it is to rescue a barge that's loose on the Ohio River. Incredibly, incredibly difficult, and yet I have seen no statements from any government acknowledging the hard work of these men and acknowledging the fact that they have no privilege, that they're just working hard on the Ohio River day after day and comfortable enough with it to rescue barges. The Louisville Water Company said that the incident was downriver from its intake and that therefore there has been no impact on the city's drinking water. However, there are many cities and towns along the Ohio River, and so it's likely that this will impact someone. Your water is safe to drink, the Louisville Water Company said on Facebook. No injuries were reported and no one is missing from this accident. Methanol is used in windshield washer fluid, gas line antifreeze, carburetor cleaner, copy machine fluid, perfumes, and other products. Part of a group of toxic alcohols, the chemical can be extremely dangerous to humans if ingested and can result in death, coma, respiratory, and circulatory failure, according to the National Institutes of Health and a white paper on the chemical published by federal health officials. So no one in the federal government has denied the risks of methanol. Have they denied help to the Ohio River communities and Louisville? From what I can tell, yes, there appears to be no call by FEMA, no call by United States Recovery to act on this potential spill. The Coast Guard is investigating the cause of the crash that freed the barges.